Ladies and gentlemen, from the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace and Justice, Deacon Gerald Celente.
Hello, this is Deacon Celente of the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace and Justice. The big news, making all of the news in the Western world, is the death of the Queen of England. That's the big news. She was 96 years old. People do die, but there's a big message here and how adored she is. For why, I don't know, but she's nobility. Nobility means that they are above us, we the people. This is all the big news. And now the guy that's going to play king. King for a day? How many days? That they still worship nobility is not something that's in the eyes of the God of the Universal Church of Freedom, Peace, and Justice. Once upon a time, in the United States, there was a Declaration of Independence to break away from the royalty who ruled the people that would become the people of the United States. And in that Declaration of Independence, it says, when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth the separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and nature's God entitle them, a decent respect to the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to the separation. This is the separation from the royalty. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. No, they are not equal anymore. The nobility is above us in the world of today, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Happiness is not allowed anymore. They robbed us of happiness when the man that gave us the COVID war, Fauci, began spreading the lies back in the 1980s of AIDS and warning that everybody would get it, which was a big lie, just like the COVID war. And then more happiness was robbed from us with the war on terror. An Operation Enduring Freedom. How is that for Orwellian language? From a murderer-in-chief called George W. Bush. And then the COVID war, robbing us of our life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, with people playing dictators, whether they were presidents, prime ministers, chancellors, mayors, governors, telling people what to do based on only political science and fraudulent science. So going back to the nobility, when they honor the nobility, you're also supposed to honor those other dignitaries, politicians, and bureaucrats that they put above us, officials, ministers. What great accomplishments did the Queen bring us, that she should be so honored by the world? To me, honoring nobility is against the doctrine of all men, and of course, meaning women, all people, are created equal. Equal. And by their deeds you shall know them. So that's all the news. Barely making the news is that the United States keeps ramping up the killing fields of Ukraine. $2.8 billion more in military aid. Rocket systems, 36,000 rounds of 105 millimeter artillery rounds, 1.5 million rounds of arms ammunition, grenade launches, night vision devices. Since Russia invaded Ukraine, and we're totally against the invasion, and we totally understand why it happened, it is reported that the United States has sent $67 billion. That's right. $67 billion. According to the Associated Press, another $1 billion to $2.2 billion would go to Ukraine. The remaining funds will be divided along to Albania, Bosnia, Bulgaria, Croatia, Czech Republic, Estonia, Greece, Kosovo, Latvia, Lithuania, Moldova, Montenegro, North Macedonia, Poland, Romania, Slovakia, and Slovenia. Over at the Ramstein Air Base in Germany, the United States Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, who before becoming the Defense Secretary was on the board of Raytheon, the second largest defense contractor in the United States, told, this is the language they use, a group of officials, this is childish to believe they're official murderers, representing 50 countries, known as the Ukraine Defense Contact Group. Yep. And there it goes. More weapons of death. And who are they going to? It's in Substack under the name of Gerald Celente. A dirty joke. Ukraine's hero comedian, President Zelensky. It's a dirty joke who this guy is, the lies that he's told, and how people could look up to him. All the facts are there. All undisputable facts of who he is, how he got there, and what he's doing. But yet the media keeps pumping him up as a hero, like Churchill, who we mention in this article. The most frequent comparison is Winston Churchill, the British imperialist who squared off against Adolf Hitler during World War II. Yes, Churchill with a murderous track record, but adored by the Western propagandists who cover up his long history of atrocities. And the book is Winston Churchill, His Times, His Crimes. These are criminals. They're war criminals. No one's talking about peace. They say that Elon Musk said that he is pulling out of the Twitter deal because he's concerned about World War III. Huh. This is going into the second week of September. And in the Trends Journal, 2 days before Russia invaded Ukraine, our headline was COVID War, Ukraine War, World War. But now that Elon Musk says it, it must be true. Does he have inside information? Because after all, he's a big member of the club. Are we going to let World War III happen? By sending all these weapons of death? Absolutely, it's happening. And if we don't stand up and unite for peace, we're going to die in war. And the idiocy of these people building bomb shelters. Oh, wouldn't it be lovely living underground because you can't go outside because of all the nuclear waste in the air and land and the sea? Who'd want to live like that? Mentally ill people. Billionaires who don't give a penny for peace, but build bomb shelters for themselves. Please donate what you can for peace. Do what you can in any way for peace, or else we're going to die in war. Musk is even saying it, so it must be true. And this is the propaganda being spread. Ukraine will retake Crimea in a year. Ex-US general. Yep. Ukraine could, quote, restore full sovereignty within a year, retaking all of the lost territory, including Crimea. Retired General Ben Hodges told Newsweek on Thursday at the Tbilisi International Conference of the McCain Institute of Georgia. The McCain Institute. John Murderous McCain. Yep. And this is a general that the Iraq War, a general loser of every war American has launched since World War II, and numerous ones, telling what's going to happen. The Ukrainians saved their country, said Hodges. That half a year after the start of the full-scale Russian invasion, the supposed second-best army in the world is now the second-best army in Ukraine. And that the ability to conduct further offenses by Russia is, quote, all but exhausted. Who would believe this guy? Second best army? Oh, the United States has the first best army, that you haven't won a war, but you've killed millions and millions and millions of people and spent trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars in doing it. And this is who they quote. Yep. Russia is going to pay a very heavy price for a long time because of its war in Ukraine. Who says this? The CIA director of the United States. I think if you take a step back now, it's hard to see the record of war, Putin's record, as anything other than a failure so far, said CIA Director Bill Burns. If I think you take a step back now, it's hard to see the record of war, Mr. Burns, America's wars, as anything other than a failure so far. Why would they quote you? Why would they quote this former general who have just fought nothing but losing wars to forecast how the Ukraine war will end up? As long as the United States and NATO keep supplying them with more armaments and weapons of death, we will move toward World War III. It's already begun. Safety level at Ukrainian nuclear reactor not sustainable, warns the International Atomic Energy Agency this week. And it keeps getting bombed. And they're blaming the Russians for bombing a nuclear plant that they're occupying. Maybe the CIA director said that. Maybe the former general said that. Maybe the media says it. Maybe the Ukrainians say it. But who with a sane mind would believe it? Why would the Russians bomb the place that they're occupying? It's the Ukrainians that are bombing it. And there's going to be a nuclear explosion or some other false flag action that's going to lead us into World War III. So if we don't unite for peace and donate for peace, we're going to die in war. End of story. And when you know that when you donate to the church, we give it all back in everything that we can do. And we need to get this movement moving faster and stronger. And it's only up to you to make it happen and everybody that you know. USC's move to yearly COVID shots for COVID-19. This is from the Wall Street Journal. Remember they sold it, that it had a 96% efficacy rate. All you would need was 2 shots. And then they said, well, it's a variant. Now you got to get shots every year. So you can see where this is going. And they're not working because so many people, all the events, and again, covered in detail in the Trends Journal, where everyone's vaccinated, spreading it to other vaccinated people who are getting COVID. New York governor scraps mask mandate for transit. Oh, the New York governor, someone that wasn't even elected by the people, goes back to nobility. And what I said earlier, the governor, a politician, deciding when to do what and how that affects life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness? What Declaration of Independence? It's gone. It's lost. If we don't unite for peace, as I keep saying, we're going to die for war. Again, now even Elon Musk is repeating what we've been saying since February 22nd. March, April, May, June, July, August, and now in September, they're saying what we said 7 months ago. World War III. And you know the story. They asked Albert Einstein, a man that knew a thing or two about the atomic bomb, what kind of weapons will be used to fight the Third World War? And he said, I don't know. But they'll be using sticks and stones to fight the fourth. And that's where we're at. So thank you for tuning in. And again, please do what you can to support freedom, peace, and justice. You go to freedompeacejustice.com and not only donate, but do what you can to change the course and get other people to join the congregation. If we don't unite for peace, we're going to die in war. And we're not going to die in war. Because the nobility is that all men and women are created equal. And it's up to us to do the spiritual, physical, and mental work that the God that you believe in has told you what to believe. Thank you for tuning in. And amen and women to all.